I gave birth to 2 boys, unmedicated in a birthing center, 2.5 years apart, one outside of a pandemic and one at the beginning of this pandemic. My name is Jamie, and I'm a miraculous mama.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Miraculous Mamas podcast. I'm your host, Elizabeth Joy, and we believe in empowering women through storytelling and education. And it is the new year. You guys, we are officially out of 2020. We're in 2021. And I really hope that 2021 brings you whatever you want this year. I am never great at setting New Year's resolutions. Usually on New Year's Eve, I'm like, oh crap, I need to think of something. Or like into January, I'm like, oh, I haven't set any goals yet. But this year I am setting some goals. But I don't think you have to just reserve that for the beginning of the year. You can reinvent yourself at any time of the year. You can, set a new goal for your life, for your future, for your family, for yourself at any point in time. There's so many things that we do that get in the way of our goals. I know for me, I always... I have these huge goals of there's a couple of books I want to write and owning my own doula business and starting a nonprofit. And then I get overwhelmed by these huge projects and I don't know where to start. So then I kind of get paralysis by analysis of holy crap, I'm overwhelmed. I don't even know where to start. I don't know what I'm going to do. What I'm doing. So I just shut down and do nothing. But this year, I'm not going to let that happen. I am writing a book. I've already started and I'm going to finish it this year. And then I want to write another one. So, I realize when I break it down, that it's so much more doable. So instead of being like, I want to write a book this year, and not knowing where to start or how to do it, be like, okay, if I want to write a book, what are some things I need to do? And jot those down. What's it going to be about? What's it called? What's the focus? Write that down and then just keep breaking it down until it's okay, what can I get done by the end of the month for this book? What can I get done this week for this book? And breaking it down into doable bite-sized chunks, then I feel like I can actually accomplish something. And that's not even just with big goals. I do that even with stuff around my house. Right now, my house is a disaster. After the holidays, and I went through a bunch of Jovi's clothes because she can't fit in her 3-month clothes anymore. So I had to pack those all away in a tub and get out all of her 3 to 6 month clothes because we got a bunch given to us as hand-me-downs, which I am so, so grateful for because they're in these clothes for a month and then they're out of them. So we had some family and friends give us some hand-me-downs. So I had a bunch in a tub. So I went through and got out all the 3 to 6 month clothes and made room in our closet because she's still in our room, sleeping in our room. So, I just have things kind of scattered. We're trying to reorganize some stuff, trying to start putting Christmas decorations away. So everything's kind of a disaster, right? And then I'm like, I can't get anything done because there's so much to do. It's you don't even know where to start. But I realize if I could just break it down into small chunks, then I actually feel more productive. Today, I'm sitting in our office right now, and the office is a room in our house where I'm I don't know what to do with this right now. I'm just going to throw it in the office. And we hardly ever come in here. My podcasting equipment's in here, but I usually bring it out of the office into a different room to podcast. So it was dusty with a lot of clutter in it. So today I'm okay, I just have to dust the office. And if there's things I don't know what to do, I'm just going to put them into a pile to go through. And that's what I did. I was able to I started dusting the office and then Jovi woke up. So I brought her in here with me and I just picked a basket and I'm okay, I'm going to throw everything that I don't know what to do with right now into this basket just so that it's out of the way. And then one day, eventually I will go through that basket, just bills and insurance things and mail that we're still trying to sort through and go through. So, but it already feels better in here, like being a little bit dusted and not as cluttered. I'm also a box hoarder. I'm always like, when I get things in the mail, I'm like, oh my gosh, I might need this box for something. And then I throw it in the office. And Vito went and threw a bunch of those boxes out. And then I needed one to send Christmas presents and I had no boxes. But now there's a few boxes in here. But I decided I don't need to hoard them because there will always be another box that will come. I don't need to hoard boxes. So I need to break those down and take them out. So the point of all of this is your goals don't have to be that big. You can do small ones too. You can do bite-sized things. And just small things can help you feel productive. Even if I'm like, okay, today I'm going to drink enough water and I'm going to put the dishes away. And when I check those boxes that I did those things, I'm like, I am amazing. I checked these boxes. I was productive today. So whatever you can do to help you feel that and get that fuel and that flame going to help you kind of feel productive and push you toward whatever goals you have, which makes me so excited for today's episode. I have such an amazing conversation with Brendon Watt. He is a motivational speaker, and I thought that it would be so cool to have him come on to help motivate us this year. But he breaks it down for us because so many people, like I said, we set these huge goals and then we start self-sabotaging before we're even close to them. Like I even know for myself, whenever I have like a big event coming up and I tell myself, oh, I'm going to go, this isn't happening, but hypothetically, let's just say I'm going to go to Mexico in a week. I would like to look great in this bikini. For some reason, or in a month, let's say a month, that month, I'm like, okay, I'm going to work out really hard and I'm going to try to look great for the beach. I will do the opposite. Somehow I will end up just like eating and like not wanting to work out. And I start to self-sabotage myself. And then I'm like, well, I'm leaving for Mexico tomorrow. Is there a way that I can just like work out tonight and feel great tomorrow? And it just doesn't work that way, but we self-sabotage. And so much of it also comes with like accepting where we're at, accepting who you are, and looking at your big goals and how you can break them down. But Brendon and I just have like such a great conversation. He's from Australia, so he has a very fun accent, and it just makes it even easier to hear the information that he's going to give us. You know, when somebody has a nice accent, you're like, oh, this is very interesting. But we just have a great conversation, and he's a best-selling author and a leading facilitator. And we could have talked for hours, but we limited it to one. And I'm definitely going to connect with him in the future. So I hope you guys get tons out of this episode. Make sure to stay tuned. In the coming weeks, I have some amazing guests coming on. We haven't had anyone come on and talk about milk yet, about cow's milk alternatives, and I have an amazing guest speaker coming on to talk about that. I have a reproductive health coach coming on. She helps women prepare their bodies for fertility, for having babies. And that's a lot of fun. And then I have Chelsea Stivers coming on, and we talk all about the fourth trimester and postpartum. She's an occupational therapist, but she is a postpartum coach. So I have some awesome guests coming on. Make sure that you reach out and let me know who you want to have on the podcast this year. Some of you already have, and I really value that information that you send me. So send me who you want to hear, what topics you want to be brought on, and we will get that done. We will make that happen for you guys. Also, if you're listening, make sure that you are subscribed and that you leave us a review. When you leave reviews, it helps the podcast get seen more. It helps more people hear it, and then we can grow our community and help more women feel that they're not alone in this, whether they are thinking of having kids one day, trying to conceive, new moms, moms with kids that are older, wherever you're at in the journey, we have information for you. We have a community that we want you to be a part of. And I'm so grateful for that community. If you're listening, make sure that you join us in the Facebook group, the Miraculous Moms Facebook group, and follow us on Instagram. I post all the information about the podcast in there. The Facebook group is definitely the most active place if you have questions, if you just don't want to feel alone in something. That is the group for you. They're so loving and supportive, and I absolutely love them. All right, we are going to take a quick break because we are talking all in this episode about setting goals, and I have shared that one of mine is to get as healthy as I can before Vito and I start to try to conceive again. And it can be hard to do that sometimes. And I want to be the healthiest version of myself. And thanks to FitTrack, I get in-depth insights on my fitness progress to reach my goals faster. FitTrack is all about measuring health, not just your weight. The Dara Smart Scale measures 17 vital health metrics, including BMI, hydration levels, muscle mass, and so much more. You can personalize your insights and get a clearer picture of overall health. And that's because the Dara Smart Scale accurately hones in your unique body type and can give you the information that you want to work more toward your goals. With FitTrack, you can build better habits and make real long-term lifestyle changes versus a quick fix, which we know does not work. And it's nice to be able to compare your goals and be able to see how you are progressing. The Dara Smart Scale can help you reach your goals 8 times faster because it knows your body. It also syncs with the FitTrack app, and all the health insights are saved in one place. You can add up to 8 users on the Dara Smart Scale so that everyone in the family can use it too. I've enjoyed having it because, again, like I said, it's not just for your weight. Normal scales I tend to just avoid because all it is just one number that doesn't really mean a whole lot. But this can track different things in your body. So it's not just about this one number. It's actually getting to know your body and your health, which can help you with your journey and your goals that you might have for this year. So you can stop measuring weight and start measuring health with FitTrack. Go get fittrack.com/miraculous to take 50% off your order. Plus, for a limited time, you'll also save an additional 10%. That's GETFITTRACK.com/miraculous to save 50%, plus get an additional 10% off your order. Don't miss out on this amazing limited time offer. Get fittrack.com/miraculous. But I'm excited for this interview, so we're going to go ahead and get it started. All right, everyone, I have Brendon Watt here, and I'm super excited about this episode to kick off the new year. He has an amazing story, and he's going to talk to us about kind of goals. Like, how many of you already set a resolution and you're already like, I'm giving up. It's like 2 days in. But there's statistics that show that by February, like 90% of people have already given up on their New Year's resolution goals. And he's going to talk to us about that a little bit, about how to set realistic goals and how we kind of self-sabotage ourselves before that even happens. But he's also just going to share his story with us. He's an author and a speaker and is wildly successful. And he had to overcome some things to get where he is. And so he's going to share all of that with us. So thank you so much, Brendon, for taking the time to come on here.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, I'm excited. So I'd love for you just to kind of begin by telling us who you are and what you do, and then how did you get there?
Cool. Well, now I'm an international speaker. I work with a company called Access Consciousness. So I do seminars all around the planet on different topics, relationship and choice and bodies, and pretty much we talk about anything. I've also written a book on relationship called Relationship. Are You Sure You Want One? And I named it that because I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
But I pretty much came from, and I love this topic with this because it's like I came from rock bottom. Like I was a tradesman in Australia for almost 15 years. And I got to a point where I didn't like my life, but I also didn't like myself. Mm-hmm. I'd wake up every day and I'd just be miserable. And one day I just went, my life needs to change. And I found Access Consciousness and started doing the seminars and recognized that basically I'd made myself a victim. I went, my life sucks because I grew up with abuse and because of all these different things, that's why my life sucks. And when I realized that I was choosing to keep it sucky like that, I started recognizing that I could make different choices, and I just started changing. And so that was 10 years ago now. So I've gone from basically thinking I was the worst person on the planet to now I like myself.
Yeah. I mean, that is really hard though. When you're in that place of, like you said, rock bottom, where you feel like you have no other choices or, like you're kind of a product of circumstance or whatever it is so hard to acknowledge that and also acknowledge that you have a choice in it or that you can make a change when all the circumstances around you seem to be against you, right? And that is so hard. So how were you able to kind of get that mindset that you could take control and overcome?
Well, and I totally agree. It's like that first choice can often be the toughest because it's like, when you're stuck in depression or you don't really know where to turn or you feel like you've got nobody to talk to, it's like, it's tough. And, and there's a lot of people on the planet right now with that going on, with the changes in the world and everything. But for me, I mean, at the time I was sharing a bedroom at my mother's house with my 4-year-old son, and he'd wake up in the morning and just be like bubbly and happy and just like running around just like, Dad, what are we doing today? And I'd be like wanting to put a pillow over my head and go back to sleep and cry myself to sleep. Like I was doing, I wasn't even depressed. I was doing pathetic on top of depression, on top of just wanting to end my life. It was this combination of just total turmoil. And I was thinking one day, I was like, I really want my son to be able to grow up in a world where possibilities are available, where he doesn't have to judge himself, where he knows he has choice and can create his life. And I was sitting there pondering this, and I went, wait a minute, how am I ever going to teach this kid this or show it to him when I'm not willing to choose it myself? And that day I had to give myself a bit of a strong talk, a bit of a talking to, when you really have to go, you know what, I need to pull my socks up, I need to put on my big boy pants, and I need to make a different choice. And for me, that's what it took.
Yeah.
I had to make a serious demand of myself. My life needs to change now or I'm out. I don't know what else to do. And it was like, and it from that demand, and I was willing at that stage, I was willing to do anything. Like I would, if I had to read a book or 1,000 books, or if I had to go to 1,000 seminars, or if I had to talk to 1,000 people, it was like I was fully committed to changing my life. And I think that's the thing that it takes. If you're at rock bottom, it takes that demand of you. You know what? No matter what it takes, no matter what I have to do, no matter what I have to choose, I'm changing my life.
Yeah. That takes a lot of hard work, and it takes a lot, like you said, like you had to be in a place where you were ready, that you knew that you would do anything to be there. Cause I know, like, even for myself, there's been so many times that I've been like, oh, I'm going to do this thing and I'm ready. And then I start and then I'm like, like, you have to be at a point. Okay. So you're not perfect.
Oh, I'm far from perfect. And it's interesting with doing the seminars and stuff that I do, because it's like people, like, they'll talk to me and they'll be like, yeah, but you're like this amazing conscious person. And I'm like, who are you looking at? It's like, just because I'm facilitating these classes, it's like I'm day to day and still working on myself.
Right. Yeah. It's a work in progress always.
Totally. And it's like the idea of perfection or getting your life right is such a belief that we have in place that one day one magical day we're going to get to this place where we have everything right, everything's perfect, and we don't have to choose anymore. And it doesn't, because us as beings, for most of us, we're always striving for more. If we're not growing, we're unhappy. Mm-hmm. You know, for me, I know if my life slows down and I'm unhappy, it's like, okay, what do I need to add to my life? What can I create today? Because if I go into slow motion, it doesn't work for me. I need to be moving in my life. I need to be making choices.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's interesting, though, that you brought that up, because so my daughter is 4 months old. It's my first kid. And I've been reading about, thank you. I've been reading a lot because I'm like, what do I need to be doing to get her to make sure she's developing properly and all these things. And I was reading the other day about how babies can get bored too. They kind of need to be entertained. They need stimulation because their brains want to be challenged. They want to feel a new texture. They want to, they get bored, and then that's when they'll get fussy. And a lot of, they get fussy for a million different reasons. That's just one of them. But, so when you're describing this, I'm like, well, that's kind of how we are then our whole lives, yeah, babies can get bored and stuff, but as adults, we do too. Our bodies crave challenge. Our bodies crave, education, wanting to learn, wanting to transform, wanting to grow. So when you do kind of get stuck, there's amazing beauty with routine, right? But there's also a point, I know for me, where I'm like, okay, I need to do something different. Exactly what you said. I'm like, I need to dive into a new topic of books, or I need to challenge myself in some way. So my husband and I met because we're both certified life coaches, and going through that process was whoa, all of the self-work and, everything coming up. And now I've just kind of been stagnant for a handful of years now. So I feel like I'm reaching that point again where I'm like, okay, I need to learn something new. I need to, challenge myself.
The challenge, but also the change. Mm-hmm. We truly desire change, but we've kind of given up on it. A lot of us go for this predictable future where we don't have to change, so we can find our comfort zone, and find that comfortable place that we can live in where we don't have to worry about changing anymore. And like you said, with your baby, it's they crave that stimulus, but also the change that we give up on when we become adults and we go, okay, now I'm an adult, everything's serious. I have to be unhappy because everybody else is. But we desire change, and what we do is we unprepare ourselves for the future with our undesired change. Mm-hmm. And that's what I saw with a lot of people. For a lot of people, when the lockdown hit, 10 months ago, or whatever it was, it's a lot of people went from having their predictable lives and their predictable futures to now that's just been taken away. There's no more normal. The new normal is the planet is changing, and so all of we have to be willing to change with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of change. This episode is brought to you by Magic Spoon. So growing up, I ate a lot of cereal, and so did Vito. And since we've been adults, I never buy it anymore because there's not a lot of nutritional value in cereal. And in the morning, that's usually when you eat it, you're supposed to be getting good nutrition, which is why I'm so excited that I was introduced to Magic Spoon, because it's a quick, easy, convenient breakfast that is actually loaded with protein. It has 11 grams of protein and only 3 net grams of carbs in each serving. Plus, it has amazing flavors. My favorite is the frosted. Vito likes the fruity. They have cocoa and blueberry as well. And I thought, being a healthy cereal, I'm like, okay, so how good can this actually taste? It's actually really, really good. And we still have to be careful though, because we eat an entire box in one sitting. And that's what Vito used to do growing up. He would crush a box in one sitting. And now I'm like, okay, I have to hurry up and pour myself a bowl before he gets to the box, because otherwise it's gone. And a couple other things that are amazing about this cereal is it's keto friendly, it's gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, low-carb, and GMO-free. You cannot ask for a better cereal. So go to magicspoon.com/mamas to grab a variety pack and to try it today. And be sure to use our promo code MAMAS to check out to save $5 off your order. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. That's magicspoon.com/mamas and use the code MAMAS to save $5 off. We thank Magic Spoon for sponsoring the podcast. So talking about kind of like predictability and things like that, I'd love to dive into the new year, and kind of like setting resolutions, because I know you talk about how when you're thinking about setting your resolution for the new year, how a lot of times, which I can recognize this pattern in myself, you start self-sabotaging it before you even get there.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, we put ourselves under too much pressure.
Yeah.
And it's like, and oftentimes what I've seen, and I've done so much of this, and like you said at the start, with the 90% of people have sabotaged their resolutions by February. And it's like, and I've done the same thing. Like, I'd set them, but I'd also set these resolutions that weren't actually true for me. They were what I thought was the right thing to do. You know what? I should be earning this much money, or I should have this with my body, or I should have this relationship. And we set all these resolutions, but if they're not 100% true to you, like something that's really going to light you up and give you more of you, you're going to sabotage yourself because you actually don't desire to create it. Mm-hmm. And that's why what I see with a lot of people. But rather than do that, I mean, what I do is I look at it and go, okay, what would I like my life to be like this year? Instead of what would I like to have in it, or what would I like it to look like, is start getting the energy of what you'd like your future to be like. You know, would you like to just have more of that joy in your life, more of that sense of you, and then become aware of that energy, and then start making your choices based on that energy. Mm-hmm. See, a lot of us make choices in our lives. We know it's not what we want to choose, but we think we have to, or it's the right thing. And sometimes we do. It's not about you just choose what you want and stuff everybody else. It's not about that, but it's about starting to recognize what's actually true for you. And for me, what I look at is I know that if I'm joyful and I'm happy and I've got that sense of peace in my world, that I can contribute so much more to other people's lives. Mm-hmm. So I'm always going for, okay, so how do I get more of that space that I am? How do I get more of that joy in my life? Because the other thing is I can contribute a lot more to other people, but also I can receive from other people what they can contribute to me. And it makes life so much more fun living. Mm-hmm. And the other thing too is everything just falls into place when you're happy.
Right.
You know, if you're happy and there's stuff going on around you, you know, you might get an unexpected bill. It's like, okay, I'll deal with it. But if you're unhappy and you get these things and you're just like, oh my God, I can't handle this. This is the worst thing in the world. So it's like, it really is changing the energy of your life. And that's what I'd like to see people choose with the new year. Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's like when you were saying, like, if you get a bill in the mail that was unexpected and you have this attitude of joy, you're like, oh, okay. And if you don't, you're like, oh, but I feel like it's even beyond that now. It's like people just expect the worst. They're like, oh, of course I would get this bill. Of course this would happen to me. Of course, another bill that I have to pay. Like, you know, life just won't stop handing me crap.
Yeah, exactly. But one of the things we do with that is our point of view creates our reality. Mm-hmm. Our reality doesn't create our point of view. So when you've got the point of view that my life sucks, does your life ever get any better?
Right.
It doesn't. And if you've got the point of view, I can't make any money and I'm, you know, at whatever it is that's going on for you, or it's like, or this year is going to be as hard as last year, you've already set yourself up. Mm-hmm. So it's really the thing that I was talking about before with changing that energy of your life. It really starts with changing your point of view.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's almost like going into the new year, you see a lot of like weight loss goals or like you're saying, like financial goals, things like that. So instead of being like, okay, I want to lose 10 pounds in the new year, mm-hmm. almost kind of like getting to the root of that, of like, I want to, like, why do you want to lose 10 pounds? Is it because you want to look a certain way, you want to feel a certain way, you know? And if it's like, I just want to be healthy, then like, okay, I want to feel healthier. And that's like a better goal.
Yeah. And the question, it's like, and doing it with the question, not this, like a lot of people do it from this judgment. Like, I'm going to judge myself into losing 10 pounds. But if we do it from the place of, okay, so what would it take to be healthier this year? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know, and the thing with that is for a lot of us, what we do is like, say with this thing with your body, it's like, what we'll do is we'll just judge it constantly. And when you're in judgment of your body, you can't hear it. Like, you don't know what it requires. And if we actually communicated with it, went, okay, body, what's it going to take to get healthier this year? Can we, you know, will you show me? It's like, and you'll see things like, you know, there might be a cleanse that just, you know, pops up on the TV screen or something. You don't know how you're going to get the information. But when you're in question, that information always comes to you.
So it's like kind of staying curious.
Yeah. Definitely staying curious, but that's like your 4-month-old baby. Mm-hmm. They're curious. They want to touch everything and feel everything, and they want to know, how does the world work? And we tend to lose that as we get older. And it's like, why? Mm-hmm. You know, if we would become more curious, we would ask more questions. If we ask more questions, we would have more choices. If we had more choices, then we can start creating the lives that we truly desire, and not the lives that we've been told we need to live based on circumstance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. So how do you make a New Year's resolution, though, that will actually change your life?
Well, I would say start with a question and start really getting honest with yourself. Like, what if your New Year's resolution this year was, you know what? I'm going to start being honest with me, and set them as the, like, if it's targets and stuff that you're into setting, I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying be aware of what you're setting. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of people are setting themselves up for more judgment, more failure, and more just unhappiness, because you cannot have happiness and judgment. You can't be going, you cannot judge yourself into happiness. And that's what a lot of people try and do. Well, once I find out why I'm so pathetic, mm-hmm. then I'll stop being pathetic. No, just stop. Okay. And start looking at your life and going, okay, so what would I like my life to be like? You have to be willing to be honest with yourself, though, mm-hmm. and start really digging into those corners in your world that most people don't want to look at. For me, it's been an interesting journey with that, because I've had to look at the good, the bad, and the ugly about me. But it's like, without looking at it and becoming aware of where you function from, you cannot change it. So I would say to people, it's like, start getting honest with yourself, and don't go for 12 months into the future.
Yeah.
You know, if you went, you know, what would it take for me to make more money today? Yeah. Not, I'm going to have $100,000 more by the end of the year, because then you'll. I know what most people do also, if they're anything like me, is they'll wait until December. And then they'll go, okay, now I need to make that $100,000 or I failed. You know, we leave everything to the last minute, and we just do. I mean, I've done this my whole life just to prove how powerful I am. Mm-hmm. What I do is, like, when I was traveling a lot, I'd wait until the final hour to pack. I'd always be distracting myself or doing something else, or something else would come up. And then I'd go, oh, I have to pack. And I'd get it handled. I'd always get it handled. There's been nothing in my life that I couldn't handle. But I realized that I was doing it to prove to myself that I could actually do it. Mm-hmm. When I realized that, I went, you know what, my life would probably be a little bit easier if I started packing 2 days before I leave.
Mm-hmm. You just described me. I used to travel a lot, and on my Facebook timeline, it just like popped up that a post from like 5 years ago said, made it to the airport at 12:30. My flight left at 12:50. Got pat down in security, ran to my gate, and I was the last one on the flight. And then I put, it's a gift, because I was always the last one to make my flight. I would push everything. I wouldn't sleep a night before a flight because I'd be up packing all night because I didn't do it. And then rush to the airport and somehow get on every flight, even though I was the last one. And I was like, I'm so cool. But I'm also so stressed out.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, though. And it's like, but you do prove to yourself how cool you are. Because, I mean, for most of us, it's like, you know, stuff comes up in our life. You know, you're always going to have the ups and downs. You know, things are always going to show up. But for 99% of the people that I've talked to over the years, nobody's had anything come up in their life that they couldn't handle. You know, but it's also about looking at it and going, okay, what would be an easier way of doing this? Because you pretty much just described me also with that. It's like, you know, but I go, I'm so cool. I just got that done. Nobody else could do that.
Right.
You know, do I really need to prove to myself how cool I am, or could I maybe give myself a little bit more time and be a little less stressed out?
Right. Mm-hmm. Oh, my gosh. So another thing that you talk about is basically, like, a lot of people think if they're going to accomplish these goals or if they want to change their lives, that they have to completely change themselves. And I'd love for you to talk about why you need to stop trying to change yourself if you want to reinvent your life.
Well, I would just say, like, if you looked at your life and go, okay, so what's not working? You know, if it's, let's say you've got a relationship and there's parts of that relationship that aren't working. So you're putting 95% of your energy into what's not working in the relationship, rather than look at it and go, okay, so what do I need to change today? What different choice could I make today that would change all of this? And start not avoiding all the areas in your life that aren't working, because it's easier to avoid things also. You know, you go, oh, that's not working. I don't want to deal with that today. Rather than go, you know what, I'm going to handle that today. What's a different choice I could make with this? And if it's with you, like, if you're going, you know, I don't like this about myself. You know, I don't like the way I talk to people, or I don't like the way I handle this, or I don't like the way I do anything. It's like, look at that and go, okay, so what's a different choice I could make for me today? And do it for today, not I'm going to change everything that I've decided is wrong about me by the end of the week. Because once again, you will just judge yourself into it, and judgment never creates change. It only creates more judgment.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, everything you're saying, so it makes way more sense. I'm just trying to think of, like, New Year's resolutions. I haven't set any, so
me neither.
So you know, gonna wait till the last day of the year and think about it. But I feel like it does make so much more sense if you're, like, even talking before about, like, we'll just take that I want to lose 10 pounds, or, okay, so what I actually want is to, like, feel healthier. But instead of this whole, like, okay, so over the course of the year, then if I lose a pound a month, and if I whatever, you know, like, planning it out, just being like, okay, if that's what I want, what can I do today that will make me feel healthy? What can I do today to feel good about myself?
Yeah, and start asking questions and recognize that it can show up in a million different ways, and nothing ever shows up the way you think it's going to. So it's like when we have these fixed points of view about, well, I'm going to lose 10 pounds and it's going to happen because I'm going to exercise this much a day and I'm going to eat this and this and this.
Right, yeah.
Once again, you've gone out of question. You've gone out of question with your body, and you put it into stress. And for a lot of us, what we do to change our bodies is we stress them. We stress them out by going, but, you know, I'm an extremist. I know that about myself.
Yeah.
You know, oftentimes it's not my best choice, but I also know it about myself, and I also like it about myself. So I go, okay, so how do I use this a little different? Because I would do things like that. I'd be like, okay, I'm going to get healthier. Let me do a cleanse in 5 days and just go for it and be totally extreme with it. My body's going, help.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm like, be quiet. I'm not listening to you now because I've already come to a decision that I'm going to get healthier. And it's going, this is not the way to get healthier. If you actually got happier, I'd be healthier. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But see, it's like when you're willing to be in question and you're willing to get the information from your body, from the universe, from everything in it that can contribute to your life when you're willing to ask questions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes total sense. So I guess something did come up for me that is a New Year's resolution, because it's been, I wouldn't say a New Year's resolution. It's just something I need to work on in my life. And I've been saying for 3 years now that I was going to work on it, and I haven't. And that is how to manage my time better, because I'm a huge procrastinator. And my days also, I don't really have a routine, and my days just slip away from me. It's you know, it's 2:00 in the afternoon and I just had breakfast an hour ago, and I'm, right now my life's a little different because of the newborn, but, it seems like for far too long, I've had these things of career goals that I want to do, and things like that. And they don't get done because I don't have time. When actuality, I have so much time to get them done. I just don't manage my time well. And I'm like, well, my day was busy. I had to do laundry, and then I cooked, and then I ran to the grocery store. Then, the baby was crying, and then this, and then my day's over. And that was it.
Mm-hmm.
That's my life.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what a lot of us do when we set goals.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we set a goal and it creates this jail of what we've decided that we need to get to. And for most, I would probably say for most people listening to this, it's like when you make that thing where you have to do something, you're not going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when somebody tells you to do something and you go, no, I'm not doing that. And you'll do the opposite just to prove to them that you have the power once again. So it's like we do that with ourselves. We go, I have to get to this. I have to get this done. And then you will go against yourself rather than go, what's it going to take today for me to create, for me to create this? Actually be in that space where it's playful for you to create it rather than I have to get to it. I know for me, it's with career goals and stuff like that, it's I know that I desire to change the world. How do I get to that? I have no clue. I just know I have to choose more every day.
Right.
So if I set that as the goal, my goal is to change the world, I'd be stressed out. I'd be going, how do I get, do I need to get more people to seminars? Do I need to make more money? I'd be in a head trip of magnitude rather than just go, okay, so what does that look like today? That might be me getting happier today. That might be me, calling. Somebody might call me and go, hey, can you help me with this? And that changes something for them, and then they change something in their life, and it allows other people to change. So we don't know, once again, how it's going to show up, but we need to, for how many people do to-do list work?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You'll write down 10 things and go, I'm going to get these 10 things done today. And then you'll move, and then you'll get none of them done, and then you'll be once again stressed out at the end of the day rather than, okay, so where do I need to put my attention today?
Mm-hmm.
Because it might be that you need a day off.
Yeah.
That day off could open up the space that allows you to see how you could create it different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we never know how it's going to show up, but we have to be in the question with it.
Yeah. One thing I've learned about this whole time management thing is, yeah, it's definitely something I need to work on a lot. But I get easily overwhelmed by the little things that I can't focus on the bigger things. So I know one thing for me that sucks up my time is like, okay, is the clutter, basically clutter. So if there's clutter on the outside of my life, I feel clutter on the inside of my life. So if the house is kind of a mess and whatever, then I'm like, I can't sit down and focus on this because I'm thinking of the pile of laundry that needs to be folded over there. And I'm thinking about, I need to clear out the dishwasher and I need to prep dinner and I need to like all these different things. And then that's what consumes my time instead of like, and I've noticed too, like if I literally, it takes me 5 minutes to clear out the dishwasher. So if I'm like, hey, I have 5 minutes right now, I'm just going to go clear that out and then get back to what I'm doing. And so, but then you think about it and stress about it. It's like, why can't you just do it?
Well, you just said it perfectly. Like, because that's what we do is it's like, I mean, I throughout my life have been one to avoid things. And what I'll do is it's like, so I'd go, my phone would ring and it'd be like somebody I didn't want to deal with, so I wouldn't answer it. And then for the rest of the day, I'd be thinking about them. I'd get nothing done. Mm-hmm. And then there goes my day. But the same with what you just said with the dishwasher and stuff like that is it's like when you get that ping to do something, like when you go, oh, the dishwasher's full. Just like if we started living our lives like that where we didn't have this set pattern that we had to live by, where we went, well, no, the dishwasher's full, but I promised myself for the next 2 hours I was going to work on this project that I'm working on. But now I'm not even getting the project done because I'm thinking about the dishes. Mm-hmm. Rather than go, okay, I'm just going to get the dishwasher emptied and then I'll get back to this. And it frees up the energy in our life. Like I know for me with my house, I love my house. It's beautiful. But when it's not organized, like when I don't have things in place, if something's out of place, I'm thinking about that thing out of place. And I'm going, all of my energy is going into that rather than going into what I can create. So it's about looking at your life and going, okay, so what have I been avoiding? What can I handle right now? What can I handle today that would free up that energy that would allow me to be more creative?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because what we do is we just go, no, I've decided. We come to decision about what it is that we need or what it is we have to create. And then everything else that's going on around us is the thing that's sucking all of our energy out of the thing that we've decided we need to create.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. That's my day every day.
You pretty much just described, well, you described parts of my day because I know where I do it, but you pretty much just described everyone's days.
Yeah.
But the other thing that I want to say with this is we've got to learn to be kinder to ourselves. You're a new mom. You've got a 4-month-old baby. It's like you're going to have your life is going to be busy like that. So we've got to recognize it and go, you know what, I'm going to be kind to me today.
Yeah.
I'm going to recognize that there's things in my life I know I desire to create. I know I desire to change. It's not all going to happen today. I need to be kind to me today because once again, when we have that kindness with us, it allows us to have the energy that we are. Then we can relax and then we can go, okay, so then we can get into true question because we're not coming to all these conclusions and decisions about how to get to something. But when we're kind to us and we relax into our lives, we can go, okay, so what is it I'd truly like to create? And what could I change today that would allow me to create it? Mm-hmm. But we've really got to get kinder with ourselves because most people treat themselves like shit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's true. And everything that we've talked about so far, I feel like in theory seems easy, simple, right? So I'm just going to get things done when I think about them and I'm going to be kinder to myself and I'm going to, instead of creating this giant goal, think about what I can get done today. But it's like these small steps that can make huge differences, but it seems so hard to even just take that small step.
Yeah. And it's the small steps. And most of us are going, well, how do I change my whole life in 3 seconds?
I know.
How do I find the one choice that's going to rule them all and then I never have to choose again? It's not. It's like I've changed my life over the last 10 years with millions and millions and millions of choices. and every single one of them were not good choices. I've made some really bad choices, but I've learned a lot from them. So we have to, once again, be willing to know that we're going to choose things against ourselves. But if you have that kindness to you, then you can see what the choice creates, because every choice creates an awareness when we're willing to have it. And then we go, oh, okay, what did that choice create? Not what's wrong with me. But, I mean, even with the New Year's resolutions, like if people went, you know what, this year I'm going to be kinder to me. Mm-hmm. If we had 8 billion people on this planet who were kind to themselves, can you imagine how kind they would be to everybody else? Mm-hmm. And most people aren't kind to others because they don't even know how to be kind to themselves.
Mm-hmm. It would be life-changing, world-changing.
It would be world-changing, and it's like, but it has to start with us. So the other thing I want to say with this is a lot of people get down and depressed and stressed out and just unhappy when they're not asking big enough. When they're saying, well, the most important thing to me is money. That's my New Year's resolution is I'm going to create more money. Is that really big enough for you? Mm-hmm. Or if you were willing to be kind to yourself, if you were willing to actually look at a bigger picture and look outside of what you've decided is wrong with you, would the money just start showing up? Would be my question. Most of us focus on the things that we've decided we need and the things that we've decided are most important, and we forget about the things that are way bigger than that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It opens up endless possibility.
Yeah, and that's what I'm interested in, is opening up of possibilities that people we all have available. And like you said, it's like it can seem like the hardest thing ever. And what I've noticed with me is when it's gotten hard like that, I know that in order for me to choose something different and change, I can no longer blame why I'm not changing. Mm-hmm. A lot of us will hold on to our problems and say, yeah, well, you can sit there and say that your life's changed in the last 10 years and it's easy and stuff like that. Oh, I'm not saying it's easy. It's been a slog for 10 years. I've had to buckle up my courage every time to choose beyond. But it takes that demand of yourself. And it takes the demand of yourself. It takes the kindness with yourself to recognize that you truly are in the driver's seat of your life. Mm-hmm. Nobody else is steering this car for you. You're behind the wheel, but that's the place that takes the courage, is you've got to recognize that you're creating your life. Now, what would you like to create it as? Right.
And it is so easy to blame the world around you. It's so easy to, which I mean, I do it too, be like, mm-hmm. Well, I would, but this person or this thing. And, it's almost like instead of life happening to you, you're starting to live. Yes.
Most of us are vested in having a life. Mm-hmm. Because once you have a life, now that I've got my family and my house and my car and my dog and my money, and I know that I earn this much money a year and I have it, that all got taken away 10 months ago. Mm-hmm. We all went from having our secure futures, and I was even doing it too. It's like I recognized when we went into lockdown that I was creating a life rather than living. It's like I had my schedule planned for the next 10 months, and I went, oh, I know exactly what I'm doing. And then boom, we went into lockdown. And I went, oh, there goes the future that I've just decided was predictable. Now I have to be willing to live, and I have to be willing to change with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This year's been a trip.
It has.
So I guess kind of like in review of everything, I'd love for you just to say basically 3 things you need to change in 2021 in order to create the life you want.
Okay. I'll use myself as an example. What I'm looking at for 2021 is that definitely I'm kinder to myself, and looking at, so what would I like my life to be like? Not look like, or not what I want to have in it in 12 months to 2 years. Then I get an energy of it, and I start choosing with that energy, and I go, okay, so see, for me, it's joy. It's this energy of joy. Like I know when I've got that energy of joy, I'm going to contribute everything I can to everybody else, and I want to contribute to the world. So that's what's true for me, but it's like that doesn't mean it's true for anybody else. It's just what's true for me. I'm using myself as an example, but it's that, and then once again, it's like for me, I look at, okay, so what would it take for me to be more of a contribution? And this has taken me a long time to get to, because I used to do I'd like to have, more money per month and all of this. I recognized that when I was willing to ask bigger, like to go in outside of myself and ask bigger, everything, all of those things that I decided were really hard to get to, like money and change my body and different things like this, it all just started showing up in my life because I was willing to be that energy of something bigger. So I would say to people, start asking different questions. Really, truly, 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 I cannot say this enough, start being kinder to yourself. Like if we got out of judgment, if that was your New Year's resolution for 2021, and you're never going to get out of judgment completely. It's just, that's once again, if you're going to set yourself up for judging yourself more for why you're not getting out of judgment. Mm-hmm. If you went, I'm going to judge myself less and I'm going to judge everything less this year. How much more present would you have to be in your life with that as a request of you? Mm-hmm. Because people would have to start looking at it and going, oh, I'm judging again. And not, I'm judging again, therefore I'm wrong. I'm judging again, and I really demanded of myself this year that I'm going to start changing that. Mm-hmm. Then we can go, oh, okay, I'm present in my life enough to know when I'm judging. Now I'm going to change it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I wrote a couple things down, but I know I'm going to listen back to this episode and take notes.
Well, see, that's the thing that I really would like people to look at this year is it's like, when I say asking for something bigger, it's not about going, oh, now I've got to ask for something bigger and stressing yourself out. That if you got out of judgment, if you started getting out of judgment, your life would be magical. Mm-hmm. If people looked at it like that, that's a huge ask.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to judge myself less and I'm going to judge my body less this year. Mm-hmm. Whatever it takes, I'm going to be present enough in my life to know when I'm choosing it, and I'm going to stop it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I just want to, so it's stop it. It's make that demand of yourself. You know what? I'm judging myself. Stop it. The other thing is a great way to start getting out of judgment is gratitude and judgment cannot coexist. They do not live together. You cannot judge and be grateful at the same time. So start looking at your life and going, okay, so what's the gift of this? And that people oftentimes go, you can't say that because it's a money problem. What's the gift in a money problem? Well, if you looked at it and went, what's the gift? Then you could actually start changing it. Mm-hmm. We can't change anything that we judge. Mm-hmm. We can only judge it more. Yeah. So if you look at it and go, okay, what's the gift in this? Then you can start seeing the areas that you chose it. You created it based on your choices. Now what different choices can I make to create something different?
Mm-hmm. Right. It's like the gift is you have more choices.
Yep. Always have more choices.
Yeah.
But then once again, we don't get to be the victim and then you don't get to blame everybody else. And it's just annoying because then you actually have to choose your life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know. As I mentioned before, I met my husband because he was a certified life coach and I was going through the program and a friend linked us together. And so like I've had to tell him not to coach me sometimes because I'll get in my like self-loathing, whatever. And he's like all positive and like, okay, well, where's the like being all like, where can you, basically the stuff you were saying. And sometimes I'll be like, don't coach me right now. I just need you to be like, yeah, that sucks.
Exactly.
Just let me feel bad.
Yeah, exactly. But when I'm having, I can do cranky better than anybody I know. Mm-hmm. It's like if I'm doing cranky, I can suck the energy out of a room better than anybody on this planet. But But what I learned was, see, I'd do cranky and it would last a week because I'd be like, okay, I need to change this. Why am I cranky? And I'd be analyzing everything, trying to figure out why. Now I just go, oh, I'm going to enjoy it. This is going to be fun. And then I can change it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know, and it's like, but some days we just want to be like, you know what, leave me alone. I just want to be cranky.
Right.
Can I not have my problems today and just not feel pathetic, please? You know, it's like, but once again, that's the kindness to you.
Right. Well, and it's not about being perfect. It's about knowing that you can choose better or more.
Yeah. Well, also knowing that you're choosing it.
Right.
So if you know that you're choosing your cranky moment, then you can enjoy it.
Yeah.
But most of us go, well, why am I cranky? There must be this outside source coming down from the universe and making me cranky. No, you're just choosing to be cranky.
Right. Right. Yeah.
You know, and I used to, this was a big one for me. 'Cause it's like even this morning, I woke up this morning and went, for the first 3 minutes, I was like, oh, I just feel like almost depressed. I know I'm aware of a lot of people on the planet right now. You know, it's Christmas.
Yeah.
It's stuff, you know, there's stuff going on. And it's like, and I went, who am I being? None of this is mine. Within 3 minutes, I was just this bubbly, joyful me again. Mm-hmm. You know, but it's like, but we got to be willing to ask questions and recognize that we're choosing it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I feel like for me, I guess one thing that would help me choose it better is like based on kind of what you're just saying, like none of this is mine. I feel like that's where social media can be a downfall because you're seeing everything else and everyone else. And then you're kind of taking all of that on. And you could, you know, I watched a video the other day and about, you know, something that happened to this person. And then I was all stressed out for 2 days about it. You know, and that is kind of one of my things in the new year too, is I do some work on social media, but other than that, I just really don't want to be on it because for me, it is a joy sucker. It can be a time sucker, a huge time sucker. And if I want to be better with my time, I can't just be sitting there scrolling through Instagram, mindlessly. But it can also be such a joy sucker, as well. 'Cause then you get into judgment, which is the thief of joy, and start judging myself because this person who had their baby at the same time has a 6-pack and I don't. And this person, you know, like all this other stuff. And it's like, but I do love my body. I'm fine with my body. But when I see that 6-pack, then I feel bad about my body, you know? So I think that.
So let me give you a tool on this.
Yeah.
Let me give, and for everyone listening, because we all do this. We all do this one. And so the tool is, so when that energy comes up, is ask, who does this belong to? Okay, if it lightens up at all, it's not yours. Like so there's the tool. Who does it belong to for every thought, feeling, and emotion that's showing up in your life? You know, when you go, because you go from this happy moment, then you'll see one photo or one video and you're like, where did I go? What just happened? How many people have seen that photo and video, and how much do you become aware of everybody else's reactions also? Mm-hmm. You know, because we're all like, the thing with social media is it's a projected image of everything. None of it's a reality.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like even with the girl with the 6-pack after having a baby, she probably had to torture herself into it.
Yeah.
You know, and you have this sense of joy with your body. Mm-hmm. It's like, that's what works for you, which is the gift that it is.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I'd much rather have your reality with your body than hers. Because even with you talking about it, I get aware of the energy and I go, oh, ow, that just feels painful what you just did to your body to get that 6-pack.
Yeah.
But this is the level of awareness that we have and we don't acknowledge. Mm-hmm. We are so aware. We can look at one thing and then just get this download of everybody else's universes. And then we go, oh, I feel like an elephant just came from the sky and is sitting on my head.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How do I get rid of the elephant? By asking, who does it belong to?
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I do feel like so much of that, though, does come from social media, just the world that we live in right now. I mean, there's even just been studies on the teen suicide rate that has skyrocketed since Instagram started and things like that. So I feel like, yeah, I know that my husband and I have talked a lot, and like one of our big goals is just to have like time limits with our phones, and like at a certain time every night, you know, we're just together as a family. We're just present with each other and our daughter, and, you know.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It just has to be done, because otherwise it's such a time sucker. And it's like, we don't have to get into it, but it's like programmed to be a time sucker. The way that the algorithms and everything works, it's programmed to get you addicted, to feed you different things and to suck your time. Like, I watched that documentary about it. Like, it was crazy. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
I know. And it's like, but see, this is like, you're willing to see it. Most people are on autopilot and they don't even see it. Like, you'll pick up your phone and you're gone.
Right.
Your life has just gone to the side. And now all of your energy is going into this artificial intelligence. Mm-hmm. And it's like, so we live so much of our lives on autopilot. And the thing with like the teen suicide, it's like, I mean, I ask every day, it's like, what's it going to take to change this so that these kids and these teenagers start knowing that they have different possibilities available? Mm-hmm. You know, I was talking to a friend the other day, and she said that the top SEO searches with Google in 5 years have like exponentialized with anxiety, depression, and suicide. Mm-hmm. Three things that people are they're the three top things that people are searching for, and they're trying to find help.
Yeah.
They're trying to find help, but they're trying to find it through, like, they're like, where do I go for this? Mm-hmm. You know, and that's the thing I love about Access Consciousness is we have so much stuff online. We have so much free stuff. We have just, it's just this, it's a place where people can find information that truly changes their life. Mm-hmm. For social media, like I said, it's a projected image.
Right.
You know, we're looking, like, I had somebody say to me the other day when I was doing a class, she was looking at my relationship, the relationship that I'm in right now. And she said, oh, I want a relationship like yours. It's the perfect relationship. And I went, how did you get that? Mm-hmm. Like, you don't know the work it takes. You don't know what I've put into it. It's like we're looking for this image that we've decided is the right image rather than what is true for me. Mm-hmm. We're not going to find that in social media.
No, not at all. Before we wrap everything up, I feel like you gave us tons of great information and tools and things to take into the new year and to kick off this new year, just even with curiosity, even if somebody listens to this episode and decides to just kind of be a little more curious about themselves and be like, why am I feeling that? Where did this come from? Why do I want this goal? You know, just kind of diving in. I feel like that we've talked about a lot of that stuff and gotten a lot of good information from you. So I just want to thank you so much for coming on. And I would love for you to tell us, where can people learn more about you or what you do or connect with you?
They can go to my website, which is brendonwatt.com, and also check out the stuff on Access Consciousness. There's accessconsciousness.com, but all you have to do now is, I mean, it's huge. We're in 176 countries. You cannot miss us. Just Google it, you know, and there's thousands of facilitators, and it's like, and see, because we all resonate towards something different. So it's, you know, just check it out and see if it feels like fun for you. But remember, look at things in your life and go, okay, if it's light for me, then it's going to be something that's true for me. If it's heavy, then it's not. Mm-hmm. So if you check it out and it's light for you, then keep looking.
Yeah. Awesome. I will have both of those links in the show notes. And thank you so much, Brendon, for coming on and for sharing your story, excuse me, and just for, you know, having this fun conversation and giving us ideas and tips and and a lot of tools to take into the new year.
Oh, you're awesome. Thank you. I could talk to you for hours. You're wonderful.
Thanks. I'm definitely going to link up with him later because I got so much out of that. And I'm really curious about the work that he does with Access Consciousness. So it's a global empowerment company, and I'm really curious about it. But they do some really cool stuff. And I feel like it's right up my alley. So it was so much fun talking to Brendon. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I want to hear what your goals are for this new year. Like I said, mine is to finish a book that I'm writing. And that is... I'm saying it out there, so you have to hold me accountable. Another thing that I'm doing, so over the holidays, I ate like complete crap, and I think it's fine. I think it's totally fine to indulge. I think it's fine to follow your cravings and your, listening to your body. But I don't listen to my body. So even when my body's like, hey, you feel like crap, you overdid it, I still keep going. And that's what I did over this last month. And I feel it. Like, I do not feel good. I don't feel like I have energy. I don't feel healthy. I worked out for like a week, a month ago, and then I stopped. So I am excited to kind of get my health back under control, especially since this next year, Vito and I want to try for another baby. So it's really important to me to, just to take that into consideration, to try to take care of my body and to nurture this vessel that I've been given, and be able to get as healthy as I can before I have a baby, because going through pregnancy and having a baby is already hard enough. And when you don't feel your best, when you haven't been taking care of your body, it just can make it that much harder. So next week, we're actually talking to a preconception coach, a fertility coach, who's going to go through some things that you can do to help prepare your body for pregnancy. And we have a great conversation. I definitely learned a lot. And I know I shared a lot with you guys on here, my journey with Dr. Patrick Flynn, how we went over my hormonal panel, my food allergies. That helped a lot. And I kind of feel like I need to redo everything, because I don't think that my food allergies are the same now. I feel like they have changed, and I want to kind of see where my body's at with that. If there's certain things I'm eating that I'm reacting differently to, because I've definitely felt like last week, almost every night, I had like a hard ball in the pit of my stomach. It could have been all the sugar I've been eating, but I'm not sure. I went to bed with a stomach ache a few times, and that just doesn't happen to me too often. So I'd like to kind of dive back in and see where I'm at, and just kind of try to make healthier choices. So I'm excited to talk to her next week, but I hope that you enjoyed this episode. I love you guys so much. Make sure again that you follow us on Instagram, on Facebook, and on Twitter. I'm really bad at doing the Twitter. I just have to be honest. I need to get better at posting the episodes there, but you can still follow along there. And if you're listening, make sure that you subscribe, that you leave us a review, and that you share this podcast with somebody who you know would benefit from it. All right. Welcome into 2021, guys. Send me your goals for the year, and I can't wait to connect with you next week. Love you.
If you want to be the most interesting person at the cocktail party, well, hop on over and listen to the Brain Candy Podcast.
Our award-winning content will have you laughing whilst you're learning.
We read all the best articles, books, and studies, and keep up with new TV shows, documentaries, and pop culture. Then cram it all into 2 shows a week.
Conspiracy theories, cannibal rabbits, unsolved mysteries, the history of the Walkman. There's something for everyone.
The Brain Candy Podcast. Find our link in the show notes.
Or simply search for the Brain Candy Podcast on your podcast app.